in creating a smooth blend is to not go too high up with the zero line. What kind of haircut did you ask me for?
Mid-drop.
Like a mid-drop fade. Now, it doesn't matter what haircut he asks me for, honestly. He could have asked me for a low fade. He could have asked me for a mid fade. My line is still gonna be right above his ear, okay? So why am I doing it like that? Well, I'll show you exactly why. Let me do this line. Now that the line is done, you see how I'm not taking too much time on the line? This line, I don't know if you guys know this, but he's not gonna leave the barbershop like this, okay? So the line is gonna get blended out. So there's no point in spending a whole eternity trying to turn in the perfect essay. So do me a favor, if you're taking forever making your zero line, you gotta bring that time down to like a minute. 2 minutes is absolute max. Now we're gonna go right underneath. There's this common misconception that the shaver has to be right at the line, that you have to go all the way up to that line to shave it. That's completely wrong. Any good barber that you see is actually gonna tell you, once you get close to this bald line right here, you're gonna flick out. So right here, this foil shaver has 2 shavers, okay? When I go all the way down here, I'm gonna use both of my shavers, okay? Look at my thumb. I'm nowhere near the zero line, all right? Nowhere near, okay? Once I get close to that zero line, I'm gonna turn my shaver the other way, use one foil and start flicking out towards the line, okay? And that's how you properly blend the shaver to the zero. Everyone thinks that you have to go all the way up to that line and just keep digging in and digging in. That's the wrong way to do it. Now I'm gonna go with my trimmer and just clean up all the hairs just to make sure that zero line really blends in smooth to that trimmer line, and I don't have to worry about it again. All right, the next step is gonna be extremely simple. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you guys how to blend up, okay? And we're gonna use our lever all the way. If you're a beginner, I highly recommend using a clipper that has notches. Why do you want a clipper that has notches? Because it'll tell you 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can hear the actual notches. And when you see these tutorial videos, you can follow along straight from whatever you're watching. If I tell you go 2 notches open, 1, 2, then you can go 2 notches open, okay? So go all the way open, and then, and just really quick, if you didn't know, open means this cutting blade is further away from this guiding blade. This blade is not gonna cut anything. This blade is. So that's open, this is closed, okay? So it's closed, they're close together. Open, they're further apart. Just really quick. So now with the lever all the way open, we're gonna make about a pinky's worth. See that? A pinky's worth throughout the whole hair. Okay, so preferably you do want to create that line while flicking out, but if you're a beginner, you don't have to worry too much about flicking out. All I want you to worry about is identifying these 2 lines in the head, okay? The first line is our zero line, the second line is our half line. Those are the only 2 things I want you to think about right now. I don't want you to think about your baby mama troubles or nothing like that, all right? So next step, with the lever still all the way open, we're gonna go 2 notches down. So 1, 2, and we're gonna go right in between these lines. Now, like I said, preferably you wanna do it with a flicking out motion, but if you don't understand the flicking out motion, just worry about your cutting blade going in the middle of these 2 lines, okay? Now, does it have to be exactly in the middle? No, you wanna be in the zone of the middle area though. So I'm gonna turn my clipper all the way on. And if you have a clipper that has 2 levers like this one, 2 motors, so this is slow and then faster. You guys could barely hear the difference because these clippers are so quiet, but slow. And I'm gonna go slowly in the middle of these 2. Now notice how I'm using my whole blade. Right here I'm using only this side, now I'm using the whole blade. As I get to this ear area, because we're going in a half circle shape, I'm gonna start using my corners. So you can see me using my corners. Now I'm using my left corner, now I'm moving to my right corner. You see that? I'm not going like this, right? Because the shape is not a straight line, it's a half circle. It's not even a half circle, it's like a curve. All right, so we're going in the middle. Now, if you're more experienced, you're probably not watching a tutorial video. Unless you just really like cutting hair, then you're probably watching a tutorial video. But if you're more experienced, you can definitely just use the faster setting. That just means you're gonna feed more hair into your clipper, which means you're just gonna cut, I guess you could say, a little bit faster, because you don't have to go over the same spot too many times. All right, I opened my clipper there, right there, just to make sure that everything was the same size. Not a big deal. Don't think about it. Don't worry about it. The next step is, so we were at 2 notches closed, okay? We started with all the way open. Now we're at 2 notches closed. Now we're gonna close it all the way down, another 2 notches. So 1, 2, and that's all the way closed. Look, that's all the way closed. And now all we're worried about is that first line we made. So we're gonna go right at it. Now, do you need to have a flicking out motion? I don't think you absolutely need to, but it'll help you blend better. So if you just go up to the line and then go back down and up and down and up and down, it's probably not gonna get rid of the line. You're probably gonna make another line, and then you're just not gonna wanna cut hair anymore. So what I want you to do is go straight to that line and kind of like flick out. Kind of like if you're going like, wrong fucking. That's the worst sound effect I've ever made in my life, honestly. That was not even close. Flicking out, obviously I'm doing it a little bit faster so I don't bore you guys, but you can kind of see everything's being blended out. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna barely touch it. I'm gonna open it up a little bit because I'm going closer to that middle area that I told you guys to stay at. So I'm gonna open up 1 notch. And the idea that I want you to understand is the closer we get to this line, the more we're gonna open it, okay? So this is all the way at that line. Now we're gonna close it 1 notch and we're gonna go right underneath it. Now we're gonna close it another notch, we're gonna go in the middle. Now we're gonna close it another notch, we're gonna get closer to that 0 line. And now we're gonna close the notch all the way and we're gonna get straight to that 0 line. That's the idea that I want you guys to understand. The more your lever is open, the higher you wanna go with in the fade. So I'm gonna go here. And subconsciously, I'm opening and closing my lever as I feel like I need to. But really, you only need to open it halfway and close if you're a beginner. That's all you gotta worry about. Once you're more experienced, once you have a little more understanding and more confident in your hair cutting abilities, then you can start lever playing, okay? So look, it's blended. We don't have to worry about the 0 line. Only line we have in this head is this, okay? Now, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna literally repeat the process, going up half a lever every single time, okay? So we did this with a 0. Now we did this with the 0.5. Now what's 0.5 plus 0.5? For those who didn't graduate math class, it's 1, okay? So now we have our 1 guard, and we're gonna have the lever all the way open, and we're gonna do the same thing, about ½ an inch up, about a pinky swift, okay? Like this. And I'm not worried too much about flicking out right now. Like I said, it's better if you flick out because you're gonna make a soft line. If you don't flick out, you're gonna make a hard line. You see how this kind of looks like it's blended out already? See that? And then look at this. Looks like it's not blended. So that's the difference between flicking out and not flicking out, okay? But if you're a beginner, just bear with me. Let's go step by step, and we're gonna go ½ an inch up. Whether you flick out or not, let's just go ½ an inch up. I'm going over it 1 more time, just to make sure that everything is the same length. Okay, that's all I want you guys to worry about now, okay? So the 0 line is out of your head. The 0 line should be blended. Just tell yourself it's not that hard, because I promise you, it's not that hard. You see how it's kind of hard to see what's going on here? We're gonna brush it, and we're gonna get rid of all that hair debris. So now we did this with our 1 guard lever open. Now we're gonna go to our ½ guard lever all the way open and repeat the same process. We're going right up to that same line that we just made, and I can hear the hair cutting. So you wanna also hear what the hell's going on. It's very, very little hair, okay? I just want to make sure I'm going over what I just did. Guys, this is with the lever all the way open, and you see how it's kind of blended already? Lever all the way open. Now we're gonna close the 2 notches, and even though it's a little hard to see the line because it kind of blended out, we're gonna go in the middle of our ½ line and our 1 line that we just made with the lever halfway. Notice I'm using my corners. Now we're gonna close the lever all the way and go straight at that ½ line. And we're gonna create a flicking out motion. I'm gonna go a little bit slower so you guys can kind of see that I'm flicking out as I'm going. I need you guys to do some basic math with me again. We did the 0, we did the half, we did the 1. So we're going up by 0.5 increments. So what's after 1? You guessed it, it's 1.5. We're gonna slap on. I just cleaned it right in front of my client. I guarantee you it's clean, all right? So we're gonna slap on the 1.5 guard in our clipper with the lever all the way open. And we're gonna go about another 1/2 inch. And this clipper should blend almost to the top seamlessly, okay? So I'm gonna do this right here. And don't be scared of going 1/2 inch. Now we're treading into that area that I'm always saying to not neglect, because now we're starting to get to the top of the hair. And then people are always scared to cut this, okay? Now I'm gonna tell you, don't be scared, but be very cautious, okay? So we're gonna go about 1/2 inch up again. Just like that's fine. Maybe a little bit less than 1/2 inch, honestly. Like a half a pinky. And you're gonna see that because everything just blends in smoothly, the fade is starting to fade. And you see how it's important to maintain a flicking out motion. I'm barely going to that line and I'm flicking out. Now I'm gonna close the lever all the way. And I feel like there's a little bit of a dark spot here and there. Right here, everything's blending in smooth, but I'm still gonna hit it. And I'm barely hitting it. When I hear hair crunching and cutting, that's when I'm gonna stop. Okay, look at how nice that looks. Everything's blending in properly. Everything looks good. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. A lot of people want to go with another guard here, and that's okay if you wouldn't want to go with another guard. You definitely can go with another guard, but let me show you another alternative, which is thinning shears and a flat comb, okay? It's flat, right? So we're gonna go straight to this line. Keep your eye on that line, okay? Keep your eye on that line. I'm gonna scoop it in. That line is right there, you can still see it. Keep your eye there, keep your eye there. I'm gonna go up and start flicking out. And then once that hair touches the bottom of my comb, I'm gonna start cutting and go up with my comb. And look how smooth it's starting to blend now, right? So now we're gonna comb the hair again. Keep your eye on this line. I'm gonna go under it, under. Then this is gonna touch his head right here. Now I'm gonna scoop it out. And once the hair, I'm gonna redo it. So we're gonna keep the eye on the line. We're gonna go underneath the line. Keep your eye there, keep your eye there. Now this is gonna touch his head, right? Which is gonna force us to angle the comb out like this. And now when this hair gets to this part, we're gonna start cutting. So now we're gonna go up and it's there. So now we're gonna start cutting. Okay, and look how smooth it blends, right? Now obviously we're gonna have to go over it a couple more times, but the easiest way to blend hair, like this is a cheat code. So we're gonna go up again. Obviously I'm gonna go a little bit faster because Jack, do you have all day here? I don't want you to be here all day, bro. And we did this fade with beginner steps, really fast. And that's because we knew exactly what to do and we didn't like double guess ourselves. We didn't go over everything. Now, because we did our steps so fast, we have time to detail, okay? And I like detailing with my 0.5 guard. And right now I'm just looking at dark spots. For example, I see a spot right here that's a little too dark for me. Maybe a little bit here that's a little too dark for me. So I'm gonna go with this spot first. Obviously, if the hair is too dark, that means you have to cut it. And obviously, if you're cutting, you can hear it. You can hear it crunch. So if you're over here and you don't hear hair cutting, then you're just doing nothing, right? So I can hear the hair cut. I'm closing my lever a little more because I feel like I need to hear more haircut, and I barely touched it, and that's good. Now, this is the 1.5 guard area that we went with, so I'm gonna go with my 1.5 guard with lever all the way open. And you see, this is the hardest area that people struggle with cutting, and that's because it's close to the ear. And that's why I'm always telling you guys, keep your zero line close to the ear, because then you're gonna give yourself more room to fade. If our zero line was all the way up here, which most people would do with like a high fade or a mid fade, they put the zero line all the way here. Look at how much room you have to blend. You think that's ideal? No, it's not ideal. Look at how much room we have to blend with the zero line